Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from RedState. This is dated August 17th, happens to be the day I'm recording it. And I saw comments about something about like in the vein of this story yesterday, and I just thought this is pretty stupid even for our retarded media. So it says the press go after J.D. Vance's Mamaw and Papaw in an absolutely disgusting political hit. And it's written by a fellow that goes by the name of Banshee, who you should definitely follow on X/Twitter. He's a very, very good follow. So you were wondering probably, what is this exactly? And I saw what the press did, and I was like, that's what you guys got? Like, that's your story? Like, that's a literal Nothingburger. Like, they're trying so hard to dig up stuff on this dude, and it is just not working because there isn't anything. So let's get into this. It says the national press found a new low on Friday after the New Yorker released a hit piece on Republican presidential nominee J.D. Vance's grandparents. Sorry, I had a little bit of a hiccup there. It says Vance has long cited his Mamaw and Papaw as an inspiration despite their flaws, writing about them in his best-selling book Hillbilly Elegy. I have not read that. I know about it, but I have not read it. It says you'd think they'd be off limits in a political race given both are dead and hold zero relevance to anything concerning the presidential race. Think again, though, because the following garbage article was pushed out. You can always have something like the New Yorker or one of those New York-based media outlets to have the worst possible takes. Excuse me. Not cutting that out. It says J.D. Vance's grandparents, immortalized in Hillbilly Elegy as Mamaw and Papaw, had a deeply troubled marriage, and Vance praises them for sticking it out. The records show they entered divorce proceedings twice. That was what I saw, and I went, okay, so things were bad a couple of times, bad enough for them to go, we should probably get divorced, but it doesn't say they did divorce. And even then, it's like, again, it's not literally not a thing, like for that anybody should be like, yeah, let's rag on him for this. It's like, why is this a story? Like, why didn't some editor get this and go to their supposed reporter, or I should say their propagandist, and be like, why would we run this? Like, what is the point of this? Like, this isn't a story. Okay? It's like, I know they're trying to do it to smack him down because, God forbid Republicans should have any positive coverage at all. But I mean, even this is like, guys, you're just going to look really, really bad. So it says, here's how the piece begins. It says, last month, after I published an article about the Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance and his fixation on the traditional nuclear family, they say that like it's bad. Like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with a mother and a father and siblings? I mean, that's been my entire life, okay, for all my 46 years on this planet. Still have my mom, still have my dad, I have a sister. Thankful for all of it every day. Like, tell me what is wrong. Why? Like, I just don't understand. This sentence is so stupid. It's like these people are like saying like the traditional nuclear family is bad. It is not. And there's nothing that will make me think that it is bad. Okay. Overall. I received an email from Donna Morell, an attorney in San Diego. Morell is a fact-checking hobbyist. Notably, she exposed major fabrications in best-selling books by the late celebrity biographer C. David Heyman. I don't know who that is, nor do I give two craps and a stroke. It says, yes, how dare Vance have an obsession with the nuclear family? Okay, so the author is saying this as well, which has been the building block of civilizations throughout history, like literally all of them. It says, what a weirdo, right? You can already see where this is going just by reading that line. The far left has contempt for the normal family structure, and they wear it on their sleeves. I'd say they have contempt for anything that would be considered normal, that word right there. So there's no doubt Jessica Winter, who wrote this piece, who probably should never be anywhere near writing anything ever again, thought she was going to be hit with a bombshell when this fact-checking hobbyist contacted her. Perhaps Donna Morell's sleuthing skills would debunk some major part of Vance's book, providing fodder for the Kamala Harris campaign in what is an increasingly tight presidential race. Instead, all the fact-checking hobbyist could come up with is confirming Vance told the truth. Yeah, whoops. As the New Yorker admits, Vance wrote that his grandfather was a vicious drunk and that his grandparents even separated for a time. I can understand why based on that. So the article says, Bonnie and Jim's marriage was at times deeply troubled. In Vance's telling, both of his grandparents were violent and Jim was a vicious drunk. Unfortunately, I've known people like that myself, and it's never good. It says, but Vance praises them in his memoir and elsewhere for sticking it out. Yes, that's, I would say a pretty good thing that they decided that they were better together, even though it was bad. At least in parts, with the drinking and everything. It says, later in the marriage, Vance writes an elegy. They separated and then reconciled, and although they continued to live in separate houses, they spent nearly every waking hour together. It says, the relationship seems to have improved immensely, Vance observed, after Jim Vance quit drinking in 1983. Well, good for him. I mean, really, it's a hard thing to do, so good on him for doing that. So it says, Absolutely nothing dug up by the New Yorker contradicted that characterization. Yet the New Yorker chose to frame things as if some grand revelation had been stumbled upon. Because these people they're hacks. And that's being like insulting to hacks. It says, according to records sourced by Morell, Bonnie and Jim, Vance's flawed but heroic avatars of traditional marriage, and again, the contempt is just dripping from that, entered divorce proceedings twice. In the first instance, according to court documents and also an announcement in the March 22nd, 1955 edition of the Milltown Recorder, Bonnie, then 21, so they were young, my God, filed for divorce from Jim on grounds of extreme cruelty and gross neglect of duty. This is Joseph Nye, a family law attorney in Columbus, Ohio, told me that extreme cruelty is a broad spectrum and can encompass physical assault, verbal abuse, or demeaning conduct. Gross neglect of duty is even more of a catch-all term, Nye said, intended to be left to a court's broad discretion. It says, Nye spoke with me about Ohio family law as a general matter and did not address the Vance case specifically. Okay, so, I mean, these were kids the first time they went into it, okay? I mean, I almost got married, and I would have been, what was I? At the time we would have gotten married, I would have been 23, and my ex-fiance at the time we got married would have been 22. So we were super young as well. So I know what this is like to be that young and in that committed of a relationship. Unfortunately, ours didn't go through, but this isn't about me. But I get that. But I wasn't cruel to her or anything like that. But I mean, like, part of it is that they're really young, so I think that would have to play into it. But anyway, let's keep going. So that divorce proceeding, which was one of two over the course of the marriage, was never followed through on and was eventually dismissed. Probably because she realized that she really loved him or something. I don't know. Jeez, how awful. So it's just as Vance has long claimed, his grandparents stuck it out until the end. One can believe that they want about the merits of that decision, but many would believe there is something valuable in reconciliation. I think there is. Because what exactly was accomplished here? What news value was there in the New Yorker digging up this stuff up? So just digging up this stuff when the information shared did nothing but confirm Vance's prior statements. Right, exactly. Here's a hit piece. Oh, look, he actually told us this already. So it's a literal Nothingburger. So we all know the answer to those questions. Unfortunately, we do. And I find the entire exercise disgusting and transparent. There is nothing newsworthy about any of what is published in that article, especially because the folks are dead that they're talking about. Okay? So it's even doubly bad. So instead, it's a gross attempt at smearing Vance's family for no other reason than providing some sick satisfaction to whatever left-wing elites still read the New Yorker. Right. And hopefully there's some left-wing people that read the New Yorker that go, why are we reading this? Like, why is this here? Like, what does this accomplish? But I doubt they're going to. Anyway, I agree with the author of this article here, Bonchi. It says, a disgusting political hit. I agree with that. This is just a waste. Imagine if someone on the right did that to Kamala, but Kamala probably does actually have skeletons in her closet. In fact, we know about, just go look up Willie Brown. It's not really a skeleton in her closet, but it's something no one seems to want to talk about. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.